Joe Kleen, Southern Hospitality, February 12th, 1990, 76. The music on board the Little Bird gets louder as the boat speeds southwestward through Bassatari Bay. These guys must be real reggae fans, Lois shouts over the winds and the Wailers. This is like the 5th Bob Marley song since we cast off. Speaking of Marley songs, I kind of feel like it's disrespectful not to dance to this one, Joe says, sweeping his hands toward the half-dozen couples dancing to the music. I mean, get up, stand up is kind of like Simon Says. It's going to be a lost cause getting John on the dance floor before he's had a couple, Lois replies. You need some jitter juice before you start swaying, don't you, sweetie? Not sure this is my song anyway, John replies. Think I'll wait for No Woman, No Cry, and then we can slow dance. I'm going to hold you to that, Lois says, pointing at her husband. And I'll hold you while we dance, John replies, throwing Lois a kiss. Misty, Joe asks, want to shake a tail feather? I think I'll stick to John's plan and wait until I'm loosened up a bit. We can dance after we dive. Hey, Kelsey exclaimed. Speaking of which, you were going to tell us about your scuba trip. No, Misty says, shaking her head. He was going to tell us about scuba class and the incredible Dr. Richardson. Doctor, doctor, can't you hear me calling, calling, Joe sings. He was a piece of work, wasn't he? Just doing his job, Misty replies, eyebrows raised. You're the one who's always Mr. Safety. And I was being safe, and he didn't know that. Yeah. This sounds interesting, John says. Doesn't involve driving, does it? Like golf ball driving, Kelsey asks. Hi, woo-woos, Joe barks. No driving, just diving. Diving into a well of deep mistrust and fear, followed by a eureka moment for good old Doc R. He tends to be a little dramatic, doesn't he? John asks. A little, Justin counters. Just tell the story, please, Misty says, shaking her head. Fine, Joe replies. I will. Misty, being both the manipulative and adventuresome type, suggested we take up skydiving. Misty turns to Joe, points a finger at herself, and asks, Me? Never! Skydiving, Kelsey asks. I thought this was about scuba diving. Oh, it is, Joe agrees, nodding his head. She's that good. A real Maleficent of a human being. She says skydiving. I say no way. She says scuba. I say maybe, which, let's face it, is just another way of saying yes. You obviously don't have kids, Joe, Lois quips, because if you did, then you'd know that maybe is just another way of saying no. Please continue. You got that, Kels? Justin asks. Maybe equals no with manzana oyo. We are not calling our child manzana oyo. Shh, Justin says, blowing on his raised index finger. Joe's telling a story. Doc Richardson was, shall we say, a stick in the mud, humorless, dour, lacking in a sense of play. I came to learn and to have fun, and he took my irreverent facade as not taking the subject matter seriously, which I absolutely did. Richardson was all scowly-jowly towards me because he thought I thought the class was a joke, which again I most certainly did not. But I got him to see the light down in the bottom of the well. And what, pray tell, does that mean? John asks. So, getting to be towards the end of our instruction, maybe second to last day, and we are told to pair up for buddy breathing exercises. Richardson tells Misty and me not to buddy up, not because he's singling us out. He wants everyone to work with a stranger, so I partner up with this guy named Emil. The three of us jump down to a 15-foot deep section of the pool built specifically for this type of exercise, and my buddy takes a breath, hands me the regulator, and starts freaking. I mean, big eyes, thrashing around, full-fledged panic attack. Richardson looks at him, looks at me with a face full of concern. I shrug, give Doc 2 thumbs up, disentangle from the regulator Emil and I are sharing, and float to the top where I swim over to the pool's edge and calmly wait for them to surface. Doc had a whole new perspective on me after that. Real eye-opener for him. And your buddy? Justin asks. Emil? Yeah, I opened her for him too, Joe agrees. He waited a year before going on his checkout dive, didn't he, Misty? Yep, sure did. A dive that shall live in infamy. That's for sure. Not that Emil didn't do fine, but I was still glad you were my diving partner.